Okay, so at the request of one of your peers, I am making a video here to explain how to put up the instructor profile. I have gone back into my profile and edited it so that you can see where the borders are in my tables. And under my profile, basically what I have is there is this one row of 3 columns, and then below that I have text information and another row of 3 columns, and that's how my information was put in. So let's go ahead and create that, making sure that my course is in edit mode. I'm going to build content and create an item, and we'll call it sample instructor profile. And I like to go in and add some enters in here. It makes it easier when I start adding the tables to add more content in. So I'm going to do a table, create a table. That gives me this pop-up. And I only need 1 row with 3 columns, and submit. And here where I'd hit enter before, now I have a bunch of them in there. So now I'm going to do another one. And I get another pop-up window here. And I need 1 row, 3 columns, and submit. So now what I have is a place for a picture, my contact information, and our distance ed support contact information. I can type my bio information in here, and then I can add 3 more images with information down here. So now let's talk about adding that image. Adding the image is kind of a challenging thing. It doesn't need to be if you go with this simple idea on resizing. So not using the attach file, but going over to attach image, and I get a pop-up. I'm going to browse my computer, and I'll pull up an image that was done at Spring Fling this week. Here's the important part. Under set width, I always start out with 200. That allows me a starting place, and usually in these profiles 200 is just the right size. So I'm going to make it 200 and hit submit, and then I'll get a preview of what it's going to look like. In general, it's the right size for me, and then I will submit that. You'll notice that once I've done that, it collapses my other 2 columns. So I'm going to just click in this column and type my name. I'm going to click over in this column and type Kim's name, because I know that's the information that I want to have in there. Now I don't want all of this extra width over here next to my picture. So as I'm entering items here, you'll notice that it's changing the height of where it is, where my text is, but it's not changing the width of the column. If I click behind my name and push the space bar, now I'm changing the size. It would be nice if we could change it like we do in Word, where we just kind of drag and drop things around, but it just doesn't work as well for us in Blackboard. So I space it around. We can do a little bit of dragging back and forth with this, but for the most part I find that it's easier for me to adjust things with the space bar. And then if I decided that I wanted to add information below my picture, I can click in that cell. That will give me a cursor, and if I hit enter, I can put Spring Fling 2013. If I want a space in front of that, I just move the cursor in front and enter. So if I want to center it, I can use the align center. It's going to align it to the center of that particular column. So if I want to change the alignment, I'm going to have to move how that column shows up. So I can keep adding the spaces in there to make that tight against that. Don't want it too terribly tight, because I'm going to get rid of those borders, and I want to make sure that I have things the way I want them for that. So once I kind of think I've got it where I want it to be, then if I want to see what it looks like, because I'm going to remove that border, those borders, I want to go in and do a little bit of removal of that border. So let's see, just kind of giving myself a little bit more sense of where I want that to be. And you just kind of have to play with it till you get it where you want it. And now right there, that button is it says toggle HTML source mode when you hover over it. And that is going to be the button that I need to get in there and change the code to get rid of the border. So when I click that, I get all of this information. And what I'm looking for is where it talks about the table. Table width, height, cell spacing, cell padding, border, alignment. That's the line that I need, because where it says border and it has a 1, I want to delete that and make it a 0. By making that border 0, it's going to take away the border that I'm looking at. So now when I click to toggle out of HTML mode, everywhere I want it. I can still do some editing, and it'll give me the basic guidelines as to where my boundaries are in my table, or I can go back in and add that border back if I need that to see what I'm doing. So here I have my bio info. Could type it correctly. And then if you wanted to add more images, you can just add those down below in the second table. So I can add an image here. Let's see, I get my image window, browse my computer, and here's an image for Blackboard. Again, I make it 200 and submit, and I'll submit that. Let's enter another one. I can do another picture. Browse my computer. What else do I have as far as images? I don't have a lot of them. I just cleaned this computer up. Oh, here's a picture I imported. Again, 200. And preview that and submit. And then a third one. If I want to add a third picture, I can browse my computer and I'll do another Blackboard one just to make it nice and pretty. And now I have my 3 images down here. If I want to type something under that, I can, and give it a title. Just watch the spacing, make sure it's where I want it. And again, it has the borders. I take that out by going into HTML mode. It was towards the bottom of my information, so I'm going to go to the bottom and look for where it talks about a table. And I'm looking for where it says border 1. And here is that information right there. And it says border 1, and I change that to 0. Go back out of HTML mode, and now the border's gone. So when I submit, and this crosses over to Blackboard, I have that information and it's spaced the way I created it. Of course, you'll have your information in there, how you choose to arrange it, but this gives you an idea on how you can set those borders so that you can create what you want. So that's how I achieve the spacing. When you look at the spacing in my content, it's very tight against those borders and it looks really bad until you get rid of the borders. And so I'm going to go back up here and edit my profile to take care of the border. Set border to equal 0 there. And I've done this a few times, so I know it's way down here. And border 0. And now those lines are gone and I have my spacing back. So having a little tiny knowledge of HTML is helpful when you do that. And so now I'm going to get rid of this because it's really goofy looking. So I'll just delete it altogether. And that is how you